My observation, and you can disagree with it, it felt like you were a bit more confrontational with Trump in the first term, much less so in the second term. Fair?
Field has changed.
What does that mean?
I think it means that there's a difference between Trump 1 and Trump 2. Some would say there shouldn't have been a Trump 2. And so now that there is a Trump 2.
There's a lot of other, that's out of your control and my control.
That is out of our control, but now that we have a Trump 2, we have to play the plays that work.
What is it that worked before that wouldn't work this time?
What worked before is that we had a divided government, and we had a Congress that was
serving as a check.
That was the check. We don't have that now.
Because I'm sure you've felt this. You'll have some national Democrats be upset with you that you're not being more confrontational.
I don't work for them.
Right.
I work for the 700,000 people of Washington, D.C.
And what do you tell the D.C. residents, some of whom want more confrontation?
D.C. residents trust my judgment. I feel very confident about that. And so they sent me here. So I go in the rooms that they don't go into, they don't want to go into, and they don't have to go into because I go into those rooms. And they know that what my North Star is, and that is protecting home rule at every step. So you ask me what's going to happen in 6 months, I can't tell you. I know where we are today is that we control our budget, we control our service delivery, and our council is making the laws that govern how we live in the city. And we have to continue to fight for expansion of home rule, not diminishing home rule. And all of those things are important to where we are.
It is when it comes to why he's so interested in how DC works, I've always believed it's just wherever he drives.
That's probably true. Yep.
And there's a couple of entrance ways on and off the highways that aren't the most, do you think that that's really, it's just sort of a visual, whatever visual catches his eye and he just makes a broad brush judgment about the entire city?
Yes.
So obviously there was the homeless tents. The folks in the
Well,
tents.
I think the story goes that it was a median on the highway that was overgrown with grass.
And he just wanted to know
And
why.
you've heard him talk about medians.
Yes.
I mean, I had the opportunity to ask him, like, what median are you talking about? So, yes, and I think, to be fair, when he left the last time, we were kind of in the throes of COVID, getting over COVID. And there had been some national guidance around homeless encampments and not to disrupt them. So we did see more homeless encampments in the city.
There were a lot more tents
than we'd
everywhere.
ever seen.
Whether it was Union Station, over
there
there by Kennedy Center. Yeah.
And so that was definitely a post-COVID effect that I do believe he has in his head. And as far as the medians go, listen, if there's anything that the president and I share in common is I hate trash, I hate graffiti, and I like our city to look beautiful. So that is not something we need a presidential executive order about. That is our value.
What do you need for that? More money?
The National Park Service needs to do its part. And let me tell you, they are great, but they are underfunded. They are under-resourced. So some of the places that a president drives belong to the federal government.
Say, not yours.
They're not ours.
Your jurisdiction. ISIS scared away a lot of workers.
Well, this has been a 8-month process, I think, and the impacts of DOGE cannot be overstated on what its impact on the downtown economy. And part of our conversation
is already being hurt, by the way, with COVID and work from home, right? I mean,
remote work was.
Right.
Don't get me started.
No, I know.
On remote work.
I was with you. You'd say, just please get people back.
Just please get back to work.
So, on one hand, he comes in and he gets that to you,
right?
And then immediately DOGE happens.
Yes, and so I thought that the president and I saw eye to eye on return to work.
Yeah, I thought you did too.
Yeah, and then I think he told people to return to work, and then he fired them. But this is where I think we should pause because I think the longer they're in office, the more they see We need good people, and we need them here because this is where we are, this is where the decisions are, this is where the regulatory apparatus is, and this is where the Congress is. So all the decision makers are here. While
Well, the Labor Department's having to hire people that they fired.
you need people to do these jobs,
Yeah.
and it's not just about DC. It's about the productivity of the American workforce and doing the job for America. And so those things aren't simple, and it's also not simple to move agencies. And I know that that had been a discussion. So we continue to have discussions with the administration about pausing this idea, making sure that good people can be rehired and that the work of the American people can continue.
One of the things that I'm concerned about for a lot of city budgets over the next couple of years is you've had a lot of influx of federal money. Every city has because of COVID, and there was a lot of things. That stuff's going away.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges to your budget? I mean, first of all, you're missing $1 billion that I assume you're getting back soon?
Well, they haven't voted to give it back. The Senate did, not the House.
There seems to be at least an acceptance that you should get it back, right?
Well, they haven't voted on it, and it was there's this idea that the fix that they put in for 26 solves the $1 billion problem
But you
for
still have the
25.
hole,
It
right?
doesn't. Yeah, we need them to fix that, and they can.
But what are you concerned about as basically the federal money that had been surging is going to go away?
I'm concerned about the federal footprint in DC. And people losing their jobs.
The shrinking footprint.
Shrinking footprint. Because even during COVID, there was kind of economic activity stop, but people still had their jobs. They were working at home and they were getting paid.
And you're getting property taxes and things like that.
And
right?
so this region, not just us, Virginia and Maryland and DC will suffer greatly from people losing very good paying, harder to replace jobs. That's what concerns me
Are
the
you
most.
suddenly going to be one of these mayors that has to go recruit private sector?
Oh, I always I've been
Yeah.
recruiting private sector. We just got a $2.7 billion investment from an NFL team. That's recruiting the private sector.
Yeah.
We're very invested in tech. And one thing that's come with this Trump too is there's a lot of kind of tech interest in DC that we want to take advantage of.
You think there's something to bottle up there?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think what tech companies like is the talent that we have here. We have a very talented workforce. In the federal government, they don't get enough credit for this, but they have a lot of technologists that they've trained and are highly skilled that can go and work in tech.
You've been I joke that you wear a sign around your neck like please apply for a job as a police officer.
Yes,
right?
join MPD.
Yeah. Why has that been so hard?
EDC.gov. I think it's hard because we're in a region that has a lot of law enforcement, and they recruit the best of the best here.
You guys lose.
We
I
lose
assume
out.
the best MPD people say, ooh, Secret Service. Ooh, right. I mean, I know those same.
It's
I
a
want
lot
to
of
be a U.S.
competition.
Marshal.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of competition for talent. That's one reason. We've had some difficult changes to our law. I would say if you look back 6 or 7 years that we're working to change, that makes it easier. I think to be a police officer is improving the morale of our police. We're improving their pay. We want them to have take-home vehicles. You name it.
The whole defund the police movement took a toll.
It took a toll. We had a year where we couldn't hire, and the police hiring, if you disrupt the pipeline, it has long tails, and so that happened to us in 2020. What the police will tell you is the law changes they felt dangerous to be a police officer. So we need a policy environment that supports the police. It supports community policing, it supports constitutional policing, but it also supports doing the right thing as a police officer. And so I think we're changing those tides. There are more things that I have to work with the council on, but I think that we've come a long way. I think what people don't understand, and part of this is that we're a victim of our own success. So when we go out in the world and talk about our city, people in America don't really know that we're different from them. So it doesn't occur to them that we don't have a voting member of Congress and we don't have 2 senators. So we're American citizens that pay taxes, that go to war, but we literally aren't represented in Congress.
You're a mayor and a governor.
I'm a mayor, a county executive, and a governor.
Yeah.
And so I have city, county, and state functions, except we're not fully autonomous because, as with this emergency that the president declared, our own home rule charter allows it with very little parameters. I don't have control of the National Guard. So people are used to it. In Virginia, you're the governor of Virginia or the governor of Maryland or any of the 50 states can call the National Guard. I can't call the National Guard. I have to ask the Department of Defense when we need the National Guard support. So all of those things make us different. I had this back and forth with the Congress yesterday. The Constitution gives the Congress, not the president, authority over the district. But the Congress can also grant DC statehood, just like it did for all the states outside of the first 13.
Why isn't statehood a bigger priority to the Democratic Party?
I think that we have changed minds. I think the argument for statehood had always been about us and not about them. And what we have to make sure that we have, and I think we've done it successfully, and sadly, the more kind of national attention like this federal surge in DC causes, people start to say, hey, DC is different. Hey, that's not fair. And by the way, if they were fully represented, our nation, our agenda would be more fully represented in the Congress, especially the Senate.
Do you think in some ways DC should almost work with Puerto Rico, and then you basically make the case, hey, because Republicans won't support this because they just think they're not going to get it's the 2 Senate seats. It's the only reason this isn't happened.
It's
if
the
for
only reason.
some reason they thought it would be 1 and 1,
Yes,
statehood would have happened probably 30 years ago.
maybe. And we're open to work with Puerto Rico. Like, we'll be 51, they'll be 52, or vice versa.